Mark Bryant on an inbound play. Who's going to break out? It's Drexler. Turns around, puts it up. It's good!
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hey guys, what's good? Welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. My name is Sean David. Thanks for tuning in. Let's talk some old school NBA basketball. In today's episode, I want to take a look at what NBA legends have to say about Clyde Drexler, probably one of the most underrated players of all time. But before we dive into that, let me ask you guys for a small favor. Check out the following clip about the sponsor of today's video. Today's episode is brought to you by Magic Spoon Grain-Free Cereal. Since I am a kid of the 1980s, I grew up with my weekly dose of Saturday morning cartoons, and naturally, my cereals. But getting older and having to watch my diet, I can't just eat any cereals. And that's why Magic Spoon is so great. All the taste of delicious cereals, but healthy. Magic Spoon cereals have 0 gram of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, and only 140 calories per serving. They're also gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and of course, low-carb. My favorite flavor is peanut butter, but you can also go with cocoa, fruity, and frosted. Any of them are just delicious. Click on the link in the description box below and use my promo code SeanDavid at the checkout, or go to magicspoon.com/SeanDavid for $5 off your variety pack today. And the first player's opinion that we're going to take a look at is from Greg Anthony. Obviously, he played for the New York Knicks and is now a TV analyst. Let's take a look.
Clyde was incredible. You just weren't used to seeing guys with that size have that kind of quickness and handle back then. It's commonplace today, but back then that was not the norm. And boy, his comfort with being 6'7" and being able to handle the ball and shoot it and play make and all those things. It was a sight to see.
A facial served up by Clyde Drexler.
And the next player's opinion that we're going to take a look at is from Ray Allen, who had his battles with Clyde Drexler. Let's check it out.
I remember being in the 8th, 9th, 10th grade watching Clyde Drexler play, sitting on my couch and really starting to have an attraction for the game of basketball. Even though I was outside playing it, maybe 20 minutes earlier, I would come in, watch the game for a little bit, and go back out and play again. I could never sit in front of TV and watch it. But then when they started saying Clyde Drexler and show when he dunked the ball or anything great he did, I was attracted to the TV and made me want to sit there and watch it. When he almost jumped on the free throw line, I think he was playing the Lakers. And, both his feet off in the air, that was his signature, dunk. One hand came down the lane. He floated. When Clyde dunked, Clyde came up with both his legs. I used to always pick my legs up. I used to always say that, when I did that, I was Clyde Drexler.
And the Bucks with numbers. Brandon up top. Ray Allen the slam. Gorgeous alley-oop.
The thing that made Clyde so special was, his athleticism was off the charts. And, I remember watching him in college when they had the great team Phi Slamma Jamma, and he came into the NBA dunking, but when you go back and you look at some of his college dunks, you're like, whoa.
First time I'm on the break with Clyde Drexler, he used to dribble with his head down, and I'm running the lane real hard. I didn't realize he saw me, and he threw a nice hard pass, and my hands couldn't get up quick enough and hit me in the head. And I was like, oh. He was like, going back down the court, Clyde was the guy, didn't say too much on the basketball court. He just led by example, and he whispered to me, stay ready, I see you. You don't think I see you, I see you. So from that day on, when I ran, I kept my eyes on Clyde Drexler all the time.
Clyde the Glide says we're the 2 best in the game, but I'm not getting into a war of words with Mike.
Clyde was a threat. I'm not saying he wasn't a threat, but me being compared to him, I took offense.
And not at one point can I remember during Clyde's career, he was ever pointing to about him. It's about Clyde Drexler. Yes, he eventually won a championship and went to Houston, was a part of that. But he always carried himself in a professional manner, meaning the team was first. So I understand his comments. Even when in the 92 finals, and I would happen to be coming out of college. It was a draft combine in Chicago. I was at, game 1 or game 2. I think it was game 1 when Michael Jordan had the 6 3-pointers. Even at that time when the media was trying to pit Michael against Clyde kind of stayed out of the fray because he understood that in order for Portland to win, it wasn't about he and Michael Jordan going up again. It was about the Trailblazers trying to do what they needed to do to beat the Bulls.
Never lose that image in your head of Clyde taking off from the free throw line over Andre Turner of Memphis State and just dunking that thing. You're like, oh my God, did he jump from the 3-point line? Is someone really that athletic? And then watching Clyde in his early days in Portland, you were like, Clyde was must-see TV.
Loved the game of basketball and was very unselfish. And Clyde doesn't get enough credit for his unselfishness. He could have chucked the ball up a lot, and he didn't. He gave the ball to his teammates. He trusted his teammates. He allowed Terry Porter to actually be a point guard, and I thought enhanced Terry Porter's name and his ability to be seen. But Clyde could have just dominated that team at that particular point in time, like, say, Michael Jordan was dominating the Bulls statistically, like Dominique was dominating Atlanta. Clyde Drexler could have done the same thing, but he decided not to. And he made him an all-around player and a great teammate.
That's my memory of Clyde Drexler. I mean, he jumped over my head and
Time we was playing you in Portland, I said, I'm going to get Clyde stuff because I know he's going to do that spin with his head down and do that finger roll. Man, I dang near put my arm out of socket trying to swing at it. And the ball just said, shoot, right over my face. Like, how in the heck did he see me? He spent it just a little bit more to get it over me. I was like, come on, man, I'm going to get it one time.
Can definitely talk about the 92 finals. Had a chance to play with a guy that, I idolized young and had a chance to play against Clyde in the finals. And I must say, I was very afraid going into that series because it was that moment really where Clyde was probably one of my biggest challenges for as a small forward in the game, a guy that played a lot like me, a lot of speed, athleticism, can handle the ball, make plays. So it was a big challenge for me to be able to have to run up against a guy like Clyde. It was a lot of fun, a lot of great memories that I take from playing against that Portland team, especially against Clyde.
The NBA's had plenty of great nicknames over its history. I don't know that any one of them fits a player better than Clyde the Glide, because there was such an athletic grace about him.
He was just smooth, man. Clyde played the game hard and efficient, but he was so cool the way he played and so smooth, and he made the game seem effortless. And when you watch him, man, everything was just done with ease, but he was a great player. He was a lethal scorer. And at the time, the only Achilles heel Clyde Drexler had, that he played in the same era as Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. Because during that era, if it wasn't for Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler would have been known as the best two guard in the East or Western Conference, hands down.
Well, how did he stack up during that era when you're playing against him in terms of how you're scouting him, where he is on the whiteboard before the game?
John, I remember talking to John Lucas one time, and Lucas told me that, we was talking about Clyde Drexler and that he's really right-hand dominant. And John Lucas said, but it doesn't matter. If you're so good and everyone know you're going that way and they still can't stop it, what does that say about him? And more importantly, what does it say about you? Clyde Drexler was just one of those guys to where when he made up his mind where he wanted to go and what he wanted to do, that was no stopping him. First, he was a great athlete. Second, he played the game hard, and then the way they played in Portland, out in transition with that crowd, with him, Jerome Kersey, and Terry Porter, man, it was must-see TV.
He's known for his acrobatic drives to the basket, his high-flying dunks and all, and I just kept remembering him hitting jump shots in the NBA Finals. And I remember going into the Finals saying, okay, I'm going to make him shoot jump shots, and that's the weak part of his game. And he kept hitting jump shots, and I kept thinking, he can't be doing this to me right now in the NBA Finals.
So how good was Clyde Drexler in my opinion? Well, I think I mentioned it a couple of times on my show already. Back in the days when Jordan was playing, many other players got kind of overshadowed, and Clyde Drexler, to me, falls in that category. I'm pretty sure if it wasn't for Jordan, Clyde Drexler probably would have been an even bigger NBA superstar. It also didn't help that he played for the Portland Trailblazers, even though they had a great and sensational team. Obviously, they're not such a big market like, for example, the Los Angeles Lakers and the New York Knicks. But still, Clyde Drexler definitely is one of the greatest players of all time, one of the most underrated superstars of all time, and definitely one of the faces of the 1990s. All right, you guys, that was it for today's episode. Don't forget to check out magicspoon.com/Sean David and get your cereals today. See you next time on the Basketball Time Machine.